May was Mental Health Awareness Month, and we thought we'd have one more conversation about something very important, mental health. You know what a great proponent I am of mental wellness. In Canada, they tell me about 12 people die by suicide every day, leaving families and communities searching for answers. But what if one simple conversation could actually save a life? Aanchal Vash is a Canadian mental health advocate who founded Reach Out Together after losing her twin brother to suicide about 10 years ago, and she's on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. How are you?
I'm okay. This notion about one conversation could save a life, what does that conversation sound like?
In 2016, I lost my twin brother, Tushar, to suicide. Losing someone that close to you, it changes the way you see human connection forever. So looking back, I realized that there were moments where he was carrying emotional pain silently. And many of us around him didn't fully understand what we were seeing. We couldn't recognize the signs and symptoms. But after his passing, I kept thinking, what if more people knew how to recognize distress? You know, what if people felt equipped to ask difficult questions? And that's why I truly believe one conversation could save a life. I think a lot of times people are afraid to approach people that may be experiencing a difficult or troubling situation. So I think the first thing that you could say is, create emotional safety, which means listening. Often that is the first step in mental health first aid, is listening to somebody. And when you're initiating a conversation, I think it's important to address and make someone's pain feel visible. When it came to my twin brother, I didn't recognize the signs. I didn't make him feel seen or heard because I didn't know any better. But if I could go back in time, I would start that conversation differently by saying it explicitly that, hey, Tushar, I noticed that something is not right. I noticed that you're in pain. Just acknowledging someone's pain in real time makes them feel like someone cares.
It's fair to say that a lot of us who deal with somebody who might be fragile, we're scared to ask them a very simple question: are you thinking of killing yourself?
Yeah.
And sometimes the experts say, someone's not going to kill themselves because you've asked them if they're going to kill themselves. But is that an important question to ask in some cases?
In mental health first aid, we teach people how to recognize low risk, medium risk, high risk. But what you're defining is a high risk case. And when it comes to high risk cases, I do suggest to forget confidentiality, forget about, if I tell someone else, this person's not going to trust me. When it comes to a high risk case, when someone is showing suicidal ideations or symptoms, you immediately reach out for professional help. So it's completely okay to say it out loud that, hey, are you thinking of taking your life? Because these powerful words, again, it makes that person really feel acknowledged or seen, that someone's noticing that I'm not okay. It builds connection. Not isolation.
Yeah, let's back up now and ask about some of the warning signs that you said you failed to recognize or failed to notice or failed to acknowledge. But yeah. So what are warning signs that we should be acutely aware of?
One of the biggest misconceptions is that people who are struggling always look unwell. Many don't. And in my brother's case, he was a charming, high-achieving individual. He often masked pain with high achievement or humor. Like, he was just such a jolly person to be around. And I think just being around him made people feel a lot lighter. Now, for my twin brother, he was a go person. He had an entire journal where he had his 10-year goals written out. But there were certain signs like withdrawal from people. He completely isolated himself. When he's at work, he's overachieving. He's hitting his targets, right? But when he's at home, he's a completely different person. He wasn't the same person who was at work. Withdrawal from loved ones, of overly obsessing over certain things like, I don't know enough, I'm not educated enough. Feelings of hopelessness, like he would say things to me like, nothing can help me, Aanchal. Like sudden changes in his mood, his behavior. He became a bit more aggressive in terms of snappier. Unfortunately, over time, there was increased substance use.
So have you come to, you've looked a lot into this over the last 10 years. Have you come to a conclusion why people kill themselves?
Often it's that feeling of hopelessness that nothing can help me, nothing can save me. And, the truth is that research shows that having suicidal ideations is actually very normal. Most of us have had it or at some point will have it. It's an emotion.
And most of us would say, no, well, we know that that's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Besides, we wouldn't want to do that to the people around us. But when people are so deep in their own despair, they actually really think the world would be better off without them, which is never the case.
It's never the case. It's the complete opposite. I'm
really sorry for your loss, and I do appreciate your time talking about this very important subject.
Thank you for having me and having this conversation.
Aanchal Vash is a mental health speaker and the founder of Reach Out Together. She lost her twin brother to suicide 10 years ago.